Welcome to Survival Theory. Beans, bullets, band-aids. How many times have you heard that? Food and water and shelter. How many times have you heard that? Well, what about seeds? Every so often you hear someone say, you need to have seeds to grow your garden because your food's going to run out. Growing a garden is an important part of prepping. I'm not growing the usual garden this year. It's more of a survival garden. Why is it a survival garden? Because I'm assuming right now the grid is down because I'm not running to the store for fertilizer. I'm not going to go somewhere and get some extra soil. I'm going to make do with what I have. And actually, I've got some old seeds here. This is grown for the 2013 planting year. Now these are organic seeds, that might help. And these squash seeds here, they're coated. But old seeds, do they work? These have been in the freezer for 6 years, 7 years. So I'm planting various seeds in the garden, with what I have. I'm not buying extra fertilizer. I had a little bit of fertilizer left over from last year. I'm using that sparingly. I'm collecting ash from fires as fertilizer also. So this bed has been prepared, and I planted some old radish seeds, 7-year-old radish seeds, and they are coming up. Almost every seed I put down is coming up. They are just all over the place. I put a lot of seed because I expected a lot of them to not come up because they're so old. So I'm actually going to have to thin this out and distribute the radish sprouts, in other areas because I've got so many coming up, it's ridiculous. So this is filled with radish, and that's awesome that these old seeds are working. And I've got these tomato supporters here because I'll put perhaps 2 bell peppers there, and they get big enough where the bell peppers act as the crown plant, then down here low will be the radish growing. So that's really cool that those old seeds are sprouting everywhere, and I planted these about 5 days ago. So that's good news. Now unfortunately I've got some fire ants that have moved into some of these beds, and this is a survival garden. I don't have all week or all month to try to organically remove these fire ants. I'm going to go straight with some ant killer because I've got to get something growing here. I'm not worried about chemical poisoning or anything like that, in my food. I haven't even planted in here yet. And some of these chemicals don't have a long toxic life. They break down very quickly. But this is a survival garden. I don't have time to mess with little things like that. I need to get some food growing. And these ants will stop that, so I've got to stop the ants. Now this is actually ash from the fireplace this winter. I didn't burn that much, but certainly enough where I can spread some of these ashes in here and get this bed fertilized before I put the seeds in it. Look at all this free hay I got from the feed store. I went to the feed store, and all the scrap hay that's laying around the truck, that falls off the hay, it gets piled up. And they usually have to clean that up and throw it away. Well, you can go there and gather it all up, and you're usually doing them a favor. So I got all this for free, and you can see one handful. It really goes a long way. I can put it on there nice and thick, protect my soil, and give those soil nutrients. So while everyone's out there buying toilet paper and rice and beans, go out and get some seeds, or even some plants that are already started for you. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you get heirloom plants or heirloom seeds, because you want, whatever you eat, you want to be able to take some seeds from that and plant them next year and keep the cycle going. If they're not heirloom, they may not reproduce. They may put out seed, but the seed may not grow. So heirloom's very important. Also, get things that are easy to grow. Bell peppers are very good for you. They're easy to grow. Tomatoes are pretty easy to grow. They're very common. You can grow them in a 5-gallon bucket very easily. Same thing with bell peppers. Grow them in a 5-gallon bucket. Beans. Beans are great. Great way to get some protein and vitamins and minerals. They're very easy to grow. Now, carrots are very easy to grow. They don't need as much sunlight. They can do partial sunlight. And because what you eat is in the ground, they're safe from a lot of things that other plants are not safe from. Now, this crop here, I planted last year, and I just haven't eaten them all. That's a good thing about carrots. You can leave them in the ground for a while. But you have to get carrot seeds, and I'm actually waiting for these to seed up. And when they seed up, I will remove the seeds and plant those, because the only way to get carrots is through seed. You can't stick a carrot in the ground and get a carrot, you know, like a piece of one or whatever. But carrots are a great way to get nutrients, and they're freeze proof. All winter long, these have been growing. They're doing just fine. Now, what I like to grow is jalapenos. Jalapenos grow very easily. You get a lot of them. There's a lot of seeds. You can keep planting them, because that's a great way to flavor your food. You know, you've got all this survival food that you might have to be eating. It can get bland after a while. Well, jalapenos can add some spice or flavor or both. So jalapenos, beans, tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplant. Eggplant's another easy thing to grow. And a large eggplant can be a meal in and of itself. So that's something good to grow. Very nutritious. Strawberries are another good crop. I mean, if you get the right strawberries, they'll just take off on their own. A few were planted here years ago, and they just sort of do their own thing. They reproduce by themselves. Now they're putting out strawberries. And these survive all winter, and in the spring they start putting out strawberries. Very nutritious, very delicious. Now, another good thing is sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are a superfood. Very, very good for you, very healthy. Can keep you going. So go to the store, get a few sweet potatoes, and put them in water. And when the shoots start growing up off the sweet potato, break those off at the potato and go plant those in the ground. And in no time, you'll have sweet potato all over the place that you can dig up and eat. Very nutritious, and you can just keep the cycle going. Now, in this bed here, had some sweet potatoes growing. The cold killed all the greenery, but you can, there you go, you can dig and find the sweet potato. It doesn't do much good to garden if animals are getting in and eating everything you're trying to grow. Now this right here, this is like 4 inches by 2 inches. Rabbits and squirrels will get through this. Raccoons will climb it. So what I've done this year differently is I added chicken wire starting at the bottom, and this is about a 4-foot high roll. Comes all the way up to here. And they don't like to climb it. The squirrels can't climb it. It's very prohibitive for small critters to get in here. See, even this shed here that connects to the garden, I've had to put chicken wire under it. And I've already found one weakness right here between the shed and the fence. It's not secure. And earlier today I found a squirrel in here trying to dig around for stuff. And when he tried to run away, he got caught up in this chicken wire, couldn't get out. And he was in here like 5 minutes. I was watching him to see where he would get out. And eventually he found a spot here to get out. And that's how he got out. As far as how he got in, most likely he got up to a post that I haven't secured yet, or where I haven't put chicken wire up higher yet. So I just gave you a quick rundown of what I'm doing for my survival garden to supplement my preps for both flavor and nutrition. So get out there and get you some seeds, and now's the time to start planting. Don't plant all your seeds because some of them might fail and you're stuck with nothing. That way you have some backup seeds, and you can replenish your seeds with the crop you grow. So go get some 5-gallon buckets if you don't have the space to garden. Get some soil. Go anywhere to get soil. Try to make that soil as rich as possible and get started. That's my recommendation. Now I just used 7-year-old seeds and they're growing. I'm actually surprised. I thought I was wasting several days by waiting to see if these would come up. I thought I should just throw these away and go with my new seeds, from last year's crop. But these store-bought seeds from 7 years ago, they're growing. So fantastic. Now if you can't get any mulch, or even if you can, it's good to start your own mulch pile. This is leaves and weeds and various organic debris that I just contained in this scrap here. And over time, that's going to be a fantastic mulch source. Mix that in with the soil. Give the soil nutrients. So just like you, your plants are going to need water, of course. Everybody knows that. So what you need to do is get all your junk containers that you would normally store water in. Every time you have an empty milk jug, rinse it out as much as you can, fill it with water and set it aside. That's your plant water. And who knows, that may come in handy because you need water yourself. But start setting aside some plant water if you don't have a pond or stream or anything like that nearby. Just in case you lose water, you've got water for your plants, just like you have water for yourself. So again, what I would recommend, go out and get you some seeds, get something started. If this turns out to be nothing, you just become a gardener, which is a great thing. Thanks for watching Survival Theory. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.